Aileen Wuornos is a name that continues to haunt the annals of American true crime. Known as one of the first widely documented female serial killers in the United States, her story is not just about the crimes she committed, but also about the tragic circumstances that shaped her life. Born on February 29, 1956 in Rochester, Michigan, Aileen's childhood was marred by neglect, abuse, and abandonment. Her father, a convicted child molester, was incarcerated when she was born and later took his own life in prison. Her mother left Aileen and her brother when she was just 4 years old, leaving them in the care of their grandparents. However, this was far from a safe haven. Aileen suffered physical and emotional abuse at the hands of her alcoholic grandfather, and by her early teens, she was expelled from her home and left to fend for herself in the harsh world. As a homeless teenager, Aileen turned to transactional relationships as a means of survival, doing what she could to stay alive. By her early 20s, she led a transient life, hitchhiking across the country and continuing to engage in relationships with men who offered money or shelter in return. This lifestyle eventually brought her to Florida, where she continued to live on the margins of society. But it was here, between 1989 and 1990, that her life took a violent and dark turn. Over the span of a year, 7 middle-aged men were found dead along Florida's highways. They had all been shot at close range. Initially, these killings seemed random, but investigators soon realized they were connected. The common thread: Aileen Wuornos. When Aileen was arrested, the details of the murders sent shockwaves through the nation. She claimed that the killings were acts of self-defense, alleging that these men had either assaulted or attempted to assault her. Her first victim, 51-year-old Richard Mallory, was a convicted sex offender, lending some weight to her claims. However, the circumstances surrounding the other 6 murders were murkier. Prosecutors argued that the killings were premeditated acts of robbery and vengeance, portraying Aileen as a predator who used her tragic past to justify her actions. During her trial in 1992, the courtroom became a spectacle. Aileen's outbursts and emotional statements painted a picture of a deeply troubled woman, one battling both external demons and her own inner torment. In a dramatic move, she confessed to the murders in court, seemingly sealing her fate. She was convicted of 6 murders and sentenced to death. But even after her conviction, the story didn't end. While on death row, Aileen gave numerous interviews, offering conflicting accounts of her actions. In some, she doubled down on her claims of self-defense, while in others, she admitted to killing out of anger and a sense of vengeance against men in general. To some, Aileen was a victim of an unforgiving society, a woman who had been failed by every institution meant to protect her: family, social services, and the justice system. To others, she was a calculating killer who used her tragic backstory to manipulate the narrative around her crimes. Her story also brought attention to the way female offenders are perceived differently from their male counterparts, sparking debates about gender, violence, and societal expectations. On October 9, 2002, Aileen Wuornos was executed by lethal injection. Her final words were as chilling and cryptic as her life: "I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus." Her life and crimes have been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood film, Monster, which earned actress Charlize Theron an Academy Award for her portrayal of Aileen. Aileen Wuornos' story leaves us grappling with complex questions. Was she a damaged soul who lashed out in a world that had shown her no kindness? Or was she a cold-blooded murderer, fully aware of her actions? In Decoding Aileen Wuornos, we are forced to confront the uncomfortable intersections of trauma, justice, and human behavior. Her legacy is not just a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked violence, but also a reflection on how society deals with those who fall through its cracks.